John Elkin. If we look at our engineers, there's no doubt that the car has improved.
Where?
If we look at the rest, it's not up to standard. And we certainly have drivers who must focus on driving and less talk. We are talking about a 7-time world champion, Lewis Hamilton. We're talking about Charles Leclerc, the golden boy of Ferrari, who is arguably the second best driver on the grid. We're talking about these guys.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Around the Circuit, Apollo Media's Formula One podcast. As always, I'm your boy Junior, joined by Mark and Ivan. What a dramatic race we had in Sao Paulo, Brazil. It was a sprint weekend, so we got double the fun. We got double the excitement, double the DNFs.
Definitely double.
And double the points for some teams. I mean, it was Lando's weekend. We can't knock him. We criticized him a lot at the beginning of the season, and even all the way through midway of the season, Oscar was leading it. We said Oscar looked like he had more of that dog in him, more of the fight in him. He wanted it more. Lando was still making mistakes. Lando was still screwing up, bottling the starts, but being Lando. These last 2 weeks, at least, the last 2 rounds, one could argue since his DNF in Zandvoort, he's bounced back.
Yeah.
He's taken the lead in the championship, and this weekend he added to it. The lead is now 24 points over Oscar, which it was only 1 point going into this weekend.
Yeah.
He got pole twice. He was first in practice, won both the sprint and the race. It was Lando's weekend, and it should have been Lando's weekend.
Yeah.
And you give him kudos. He's doing what everyone said we didn't think he could do at first.
Yeah.
Can he keep doing it for the last 3 rounds? We're fixing to see. But I mean, there's nothing you can say right now that's saying that he can't, that he's not, No. As much as it hurts me to say that, because I still got a little hopium for number 5, but it's Lando's to lose right now.
Yeah.
I mean, what can we say?
Not much, man. It is Lando's to lose right now. I mean, just a dominant weekend, man. But we gotta address the elephant in the room, Max Verstappen.
Yeah.
I can't, man. Screw Lando. I'm talking about Max.
No, it was. I wanted to address, obviously, give Lando his flowers before we got into Max. But like I said, it should have been a weekend where it's all about him. It's all about how he swept the weekend. P1 in practice, pole both times, won both the sprint and the race. But it's overshadowed. It's overshadowed by the Maxsterclass, the insane drive. And Ivan, you said it last week. Max has to prove why he's a 4-time champion.
Yep.
Hoping to be a 5.
Well, in his words, 3-time hoping to be a 5.
Just miscalculations in the head. Got to make sure Junior's on top of his game over there too.
The haters will hate, but no, it wasn't a race-winning drive, unfortunately. But I mean, pit lane to podium, P19 in the pit lane. He only had Ocon behind him in the pit lane. Had a puncture in lap 7, so he had to stop 3 times.
Yeah,
and was still this close to finishing P2.
So
I
close.
think if it wasn't for that puncture, he's P2 and he's challenging Lando for the win.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
He was fast.
Yeah.
Whatever changes they made overnight, the new engine.
After that qualifying, Max got their asses in the garage and said, "We're fixing this now.
We're fixing it now." I mean, what could you say? I watched quali and I almost turned it off after he got eliminated in Q1. I was just like, why am I gonna what the fuck just happened? It was a crazy stat that I saw. This is the first time in his career since he started driving F1 in 2015, 10 years.
Yeah.
This is the first time in his career that he has been eliminated in Q1 pure pace.
Pure pace, yeah.
It's insane to think. It's the first time he's been eliminated in Q1 since, I think they said 2021. Sochi 2021, which was Russia 2021.
Yeah.
That's still 4 years worth of driving that he hasn't been eliminated in Q1. It's insane. It's an insane stat to think of. It's a testament to the kind of driver he is. But to get eliminated in Q1 and then for the team just to turn it around, they had no choice. That car with that pace was going nowhere on race day.
Yeah.
4 places in the back of the start. Max can make that up easily. I think everybody could say that. Yeah. So you take the pit lane start and you go from there. And he proved it. he fucking proved it.
Yeah.
That he's still the baddest motherfucker on the track.
Yeah.
Yes, kudos to Lando, he won. But Max was still the baddest motherfucker on the track.
Yeah.
Ivan?
I
could tell you wanted to say something. So
yeah, he frustrates me because I'm not even like I appreciate Verstappen, but I'm not a fan of Verstappen, obviously. But at the same time, it frustrates me because every week we go through the same thing. All right. Something happens in practice or qualifying that's like, oh, his weekend's screwed. He's out of the whole weekend. And then next thing you know, he's starting the pit lane and freaking becomes Lightning McQueen again and starts taking off through there. I would say I saw some people online say he got lucky on one virtual safety car is the only thing he got lucky on. The rest of it, that was pure merit on him.
I mean, even though, the first virtual safety car when Gabby got knocked out.
Yeah, when either that or when Charles got knocked out.
So when Gabby got knocked out, that was the first safety car.
Yeah.
So the virtual safety car was when Charles got knocked out. Because that was on the restart. That's when he got the puncture. So, yes, he really didn't get lucky because he lost.
You get lucky on that if you keep going after that. It's like, oh, I get to catch up.
Because he was already P13 when that happened. Yeah. And then he pitted and he came back out at the back, which was at that point P18 because Charles and Gabby were both out.
Yeah. Yep. The main question I had too was, what changes did y'all make at the last second that you knew this was your last chance that y'all didn't think to make before in quality?
I know the biggest thing that everybody's going to point to is they put a new power unit in the car. They took the penalty, pit lane start.
Yep.
I mean, we saw Brazil is usually a race where if a team's going to take a 5-grid penalty,
you can do it there.
You can do it there. They were already in the back, so even if they made changes to the aerodynamics alone, they were already going to start in the pit lane, because they were under park permit. So any changes you make, you're starting from the pit lane, you might as well go all out. And I know they said they put a new power unit, and then I didn't see any specific details come out on what they did to the aerodynamics. Obviously, there were setup changes, but it fucking worked. The car turned into a rocket, Yes, it's Max driving it, but it makes you question, too, with Yuki starting at the back of the grid as well. Why not change his setup? I can only imagine it was all hands on deck in the garage to help Max.
Dude, we saw the photo of them in the garage in the middle of the night. Yeah. You can see a little peek of them just working on the car.
The car was in pieces. It was completely torn apart.
Yep. I told you I sent you a picture of from Holes where he's like, I'm tired. All the crew said, telling Max, we're tired. Max, we're tired. I don't care. Get that car
Get the car fixed.
Get the car fixed. Look what you got us into now.
Yeah, I mean, we could go on and just talk about how much of a just a masterclass drive it was. I mean, it was just, he proved why he's Max fucking Verstappen. The guy is just on another level. Like I think it was Colapinto said, he goes, I did the same thing as everyone else. He goes, there's only so much you can do when you're starting from the back unless you're Max Verstappen.
Yeah,
I mean, when he took the race lead, I was like, I think I texted you. I said, Yuki, crash the car. Give me a safety car. Because there was only thing, a safety. I mean, people have argued back and forth. Should he have pitted from the race lead? His tires were 7 laps older than what Lando's were coming out of that last pit stop. You took the gamble and it worked. Yes, maybe there's a small chance he could have won the race on those mediums.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Lando wasn't slow this weekend.
No.
So, I mean, it could have come down to the last maybe 10 laps where him and Lando are battling. But if Lando catches up on even 7-lap newer tires, more than likely Lando's going to get past him in that McLaren.
Yeah.
As much as Max loves to make his life hell, I mean, there's only so much you could do at a certain time, So you put the softs on, you battle back, almost get P2. Like, I think one more lap, he's in there. He's in there for P2. Yeah. But kudos to Kimi, too. Kimi defended his little ass off, man. Kimi, and you shout out Kimi. Mercedes looked strong again this weekend. Yeah, George ended up losing the podium places out to Max. Fell back. But Mercedes looked strong all weekend. They looked fast.
Yeah,
and Kimi
qualified P2 both times.
Yeah, qualified. Kimi qualified P2 both times and finished both races, sprint and the Grand Prix. P2. Charles was what, P3 in the sprint and then P4 in the race, or P5?
I thought it was P3 in the race. Or am I thinking?
No, he was P3 in the sprint.
No, I think
George was.
I think he started No, you're right. Was he P3 in the race? Because I could have sworn I kept seeing the P3 from pit lane to P3 for Max,
Max
and
was-
P3 to pit lane for Charles Meade.
Yeah,
I
not
kept
Charles.
seeing
I
that.
meant George.
George. Okay, yeah,
George. So for the race,
Yeah, George.
George finished P4.
Yeah, P4.
So P3 finished for sprint, P4 finished for the race. Mercedes was strong.
Yeah.
They looked good. It was a cooler track. That's where they have.
I mean,
Ivan's talked about it all season.
into season too. Like, I mean, think back to George Russell's first win was at Brazil. I mean, the Mercedes have historically, even with Mercedes' worst car they've ever made in the past 15 years, they still somehow found a way to win a race in Brazil. So Brazil does something to the Mercedes engines that same thing like it does to other teams, where it just tends to like raise it to a different level. And that's the reason we were talking about it going into this week. It's not only a historic track, Brazil, it can give you any result that you can think of.
I saw a lot of people saying, just give us 24 rounds of Brazil for the
Exactly.
26. And there's bound to be just excitement all year. Max was great. Lando was great. Oscar. Mercedes was great. Oscar. We got to talk about the P2 in the championship.
He's still
Former
falling.
leader.
He's still falling, and he's not getting up.
He DNF'd in the sprint.
Yeah.
So there's at least 7 points.
Also, another thing was the whole Lando picking up the water back when he was like,
Yeah.
and people were debating like, are they gonna do something? Do what?
What do you do? Like,
Do what?
It's not Mario Kart. He's not throwing bananas.
No,
behind
exactly.
him.
He hit the curb and water splashed on the
Water-
track, and 3 people hit the curb and they were gone. Like, that's just racing because it was raining.
Yeah.
It was probably supposed to be raining more. What they were
It
predicting.
was supposed
but-
to. It rained a lot less than what people were predicting
Yes.
on Saturday,
But
and then
yeah.
it rained over going into Sunday morning, and it wasn't supposed to rain at
Yeah.
all. So Brazil's gonna Brazil.
But yeah, Lando can't do anything about it. Can we
Yeah.
go on the video? He's like, Lando just splashed water on the track.
Yeah, I mean, could he have avoided the? To say Lando did it on purpose, no.
No.
But does he want? I mean, because he easily could have gone over and lost control himself. I mean, those curbs and those white lines are fucking slick in the wet.
He went full gas, and
Yeah.
he just somehow got
He made
through
it through. Max almost lost it. Made it
Yeah.
through. I don't know if y'all saw that clip where,
Yep.
and then the other 3 that went that
Yeah.
spun out back to back didn't. I mean, it's a tough mistake for Oscar because you're only 1 point behind. Lando ends up winning that. That's 8 points on your head.
Yeah.
And then you turn around, you go into the race, and you're only able to finish P5
Mhm.
because you made I call it a bonehead mistake.
Yeah.
Was Kimi at fault a little bit? Charles thought so. Other people thought so. They're going 3 wide into turn 1 in Brazil. Something was bound to happen, probably.
Something was gonna happen.
And if you make it out. I mean, when you make a dive move like Oscar made, it was something's bound to happen. He thought he had an opportunity. It was a bit optimistic. He hit Kimi. Kimi was actually saved by Charles.
Yeah,
and
of course.
unfortunately, Charles.
Out of all of that, Charles was the one to DNF.
It was frustrating to me watching it because we've been talking about it all year. This goes back to the rules of racing in Formula One,
Mhm.
which are all over the place. To me, if you on a restart like that in the middle of a race, that should be treated as a lap one incident. Like
Mhm.
I thought it should have been a racing incident with Oscar just because he did kind of get pinched by Kimi. At the same time, I think the optics are what got him the penalty more than his driving.
It was a bit of an optimistic move.
It
gap,
was too, yeah.
Yes, there was a gap, but it was a small gap. So
Yeah. I will say he kept it on the left side. He kept it on the turn, and Kimi kept coming over and inching over closer. The thing is, if there's no smoke coming from the brakes from the lockup, I don't think there's a penalty. But because there's a breakup and then you see contact.
And I mean, there's the saying, if the FIA has made it clear in the rules, like, unfortunately, lockups are part of what causes it to be your fault. You have to be able to control the car at all times through a move. He didn't. He locked up. He lost it. Yes, Kimi pinched him a little bit, but when he locked up, I think it was game over. I thought it was a clear-cut penalty. 10 seconds still seems a little harsh, but 10 seconds, I will say, has been the consistent across the season. We've said that many times, 10 seconds for that, 10 seconds for that. It's been 10 seconds for pretty much every fucking...
They just don't get it. They're like,
it's like...
10 seconds, here you
know,
go.
I mean, it goes back to probably a couple years ago we were talking about it a couple years ago we were talking about the Max race in Vegas when Charles and him had that run in turn one,
and he kind of pushed Charles
and he just kept on going. He's like, I got a 5-second penalty, brother. I'll see you 15 seconds down the road.
Yeah,
like, so that's the only reason that's one of the reasons they put this in. George Russell's another reason too, because George would just get his penalties and say, all right, I'm going to drive off later on. So
yeah,
the drivers kind of made this of their own being.
Yeah, they kind of,
they kind of just got to take the poison pill on this one.
There was kind of the talk, from this year's Mexico where people cut off and there was some penalties and then there was no penalties. For Lewis, it was very drastic. It was 10, and then there was nothing for Charles on the first lap.
Yeah.
Or, some argued maybe Max should have been. So next year, if something like that happens, do we see the FIA step up and be like, hey, we need to deter the drivers from making bonehead moves like this?
And then maybe in the driver meetings, they were like,
hey, let's, I think that's what hurt Lewis in Mexico was in the pre-race meetings. They said,
I said it the episode after, that was Lewis's one chance in my eyes to get his podium for Ferrari, and then immediately, it's just taken away from him. So, yeah.
So talking about, before we get into talking about Ferrari, because I know, Mark, you got some things to say.
I do have some things to say.
I think just for Oscar, he's got 3 rounds left. The championship is still within reach. It's only 24 points. That's one race. Some bad luck from Lando. Yes, Oscar has had bad luck mixed in, but he's looked shook. He's looked like he's shaken. I don't know if it's the pressure or if he's finally just cracking under the pressure, or what it is that's causing him to do race. It just looks like and you take the statement from Jos Verstappen, Oscar just doesn't forget how to race overnight.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that McLaren is sabotaging or anything like that, but
obviously
Oscar has looked significantly slower than Lando for the last 2 or 3 rounds. Something's up.
Yeah.
I would like to say it's a mental block, and hopefully he takes this last week that we have off and talks to somebody.
Yeah.
Hopefully Mark Webber can sit him down and be like, hey bro, yes, I'm your manager, also your mentor. Let me help
Sebastian
you out.
Vettel was there at Brazil. Maybe you want to go talk to Sebastian.
Yeah, he talked to Seb Vettel. Go visit Senna's grave. It helped Kimi. Whatever it is that he needs to do to lock in for these last 3 rounds, he has to, or it's gonna be he'll be lucky if Max doesn't catch him at this rate. Max is only 49 points behind the leader. He's 25 points behind Oscar. Yeah. That's one race still too. If Oscar DNFs and Max wins in Vegas, now he's P2,
Yeah.
So Oscar has got to figure it out. He's got 1 week off to figure it out, and hopefully he can make this fight close. Because if not, we could see Lando winning the fucking championship at Qatar. If Max has another bad weekend, and on top of Oscar just racing the way he has been, we won't get the fight in Abu Dhabi like we want. So
yeah. It's obvious. We've said it before. If Max wants to pull this off, he has to be perfect.
He has to be perfect now.
He salvaged it here in Brazil. Now he needs to be perfect. And even if he is perfect throughout the season,
he still needs help.
He still needs help because Lando can finish P2 throughout the rest of the year and he'll still win.
Yeah.
So both Max and Oscar need a classic Lando mistake during one of these races, like his old self in the beginning of the season. But man, Lando has been on a run these past few races, so it's hard to see that happen, but we've seen it so many times before this season where Lando's made one small mistake and it's costed him a race.
Yeah.
So, could happen again.
It's been super frustrating, but I was talking to one of my friends this weekend and he brought up a really good point. It's like you're rewatching Lando go through his growing pains with Max fight last year.
Yep.
All over again with Oscar this year.
I made that same comparison with a friend this past weekend as well.
It was ridiculous when he told me that. He's like, dude, he's going bar for bar the same way Lando had to learn.
When you look back at Brazil, when you watched Max take the lead in the race and Lando was going off track, it's far from far right now.
Yeah.
Think different.
It's so weird, but
and that's why we mentioned it last week. The fight with Max, as kind of far-fetched as it might have been, the fight with Max looks like it's helped Lando. He's especially at the later part of the season, he's locked in and he's like, hey, I've been here before. I've done this.
Yeah.
Let me go win my first championship, Yeah.
It's a case of been there before. I don't want to make the same mistakes. And Oscar, unfortunately, is going through it now. That's the bad part about Oscar not being there in the fight. Now, you could say, well, Oscar has experience being a constructor's fight. Constructor fight's way different than driver's championship fight.
Not.
That's two people working together, whereas this one, you're solo. It's every person for themselves.
Yeah.
I feel bad for Oscar. He still has a chance to win the championship, but the old adage of like we see in NFL and every other sport, where you have to go against the champion. The Rockets have had to do that against the Warriors all these dang years. Every sports team or athlete has to go through that, where you have to go to try to beat the top guy, fail, then come back again, better person.
Mm-hmm.
So unfortunately, it seems like that's what Oscar's going through. I have hope for him, but I mean, with Qatar being his lone best track of the weekend, Lando's won at Abu Dhabi before, and Vegas being a track McLaren has no fate for the team at, I mean, if you're going to tell me to pick between Oscar and Max to see who's going to do better at Vegas to keep their championship odds alive, I know who I'm going with. I'm going with Max.
Yeah.
So, like, it's not looking good, but I mean, it's like I always say there's always a chance, man.
It's like I said, it's close enough that with 3 rounds left, you can't for sure say what's going to happen. But right now, it does look like Lando's to win.
Still feels weird.
Which we didn't think was going to happen. And I've seen people arguing one could Max is still the best driver out there. Yeah, but Lando has been arguably the second best driver out there, and he's got a better car, so he's gotten better results. And at the end of the day, I mean, it's not always the best driver who wins the fucking championship in F1. We've seen it time and time again.
If it was like that, Fernando would have like 4 championships at this point.
I mean, it was funny. Sunday night, I was watching the F1 channel on Fubo. They have the F1 channel. Mm-hmm. They were showing 2012.
Yep.
And Fernando's on podium, but all the celebration is when Seb won number 3, you know?
Exactly.
So it's, like you said, unfortunately, the best driver of the season doesn't always win the driver's championship because it's not just the driver, it's the car and the team and, everything that goes along with it. If Red Bull could have figured out the car at the beginning of the weekend instead of Saturday night and starting from the pit lane, who knows? We could be talking about Max being this close to the championship, you know?
I mean, that's what makes Formula One special at the end of the day. A lot of people say, well, how can you watch it? It's just the fastest car competition. No, because those chances and rare moments where you get the fastest driver in the fastest car or a driver that's in the 3rd fastest car fighting the fastest car on the grid, those are what we live for as F1 fans.
When we see the fastest car, the fastest driver and the fastest car, we get seasons like 2023 where
exactly.
Yes, it's an amazing historic feat to watch, but it's not exactly the most exciting.
No.
If you're a Max fan, you argue against that, like me. But for the sport as a whole, it's not exactly the most exciting. So, if anything, we didn't think it was going to be as competitive as it was in the back end of this season. We argued at the midway point that hey, this championship looks kind of puppeteered by McLaren.
Yeah. Which I'll give it to McLaren. They've let them.
They've let them do their thing, fight. And it. Unless the rumors are true and they are sabotaging Oscar is just cracking under the pressure, and it's it's been a whole 180 from the 2 drivers. The thing that stays consistent though is the struggles with Ferrari.
Okay.
Double DNF for the race. I can't even think about where they finished in the sprint. Doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
You go into qualifying and look, man, I'll just say it. Nothing but respect for Lewis. Because he is still a 7-time world champion. He's one of the greatest to ever step foot in an F1 car. But qualifying has kicked his ass all season. It's the car. It's him.
In terms of qualifying, it's
hard to argue that it's just the car when you see Charles consistently getting into Q3 and starting on in the front row multiple times. Yeah. I'm not saying he's washed because he's still Lewis fucking Hamilton, but we saw it a little bit last year, and one could argue a lot of it was Mercedes' fault. But this year alone, when you compare him directly to Charles, he struggled, man. I mean, he's getting knocked out in Q2 consistently.
Man, you just look at the beginning of the season when it was happening, you could just tell that his mentality was just going down.
There was the time when we mentioned he was like, I've just, he was getting down on himself to the media, and we were like, dang, you hate to see that. But nothing has really changed, unfortunately.
No, I think if anybody, he's got to be the person most eager to get the season over with.
Yeah.
Not just because of this, just because it'll be the end of this regulations.
Yeah.
This regulations has, just like Danny Rick had to go through, These regulations have like taken away some of his powers. Legit, like
No.
it's made other drivers like Charles and Max obviously stand out and get even stronger as drivers. But for Lewis, it's like taking away his skills. He does not like the ground effect era. I'm pretty sure. I mean, especially considering the way it started with Abu Dhabi 2021, he's probably like, get me the hell away from this era. I never want to go back to ground effect
I think
era.
when you look at the last 4 years for Lewis, it's kind of like those are 4 years of my career where I'm like, let me forget those.
Yeah.
Hopefully 2026 can be a fresh start for him. It's all going to come down to how Ferrari perform, but what they put on the track.
Supposedly the new cars are a little bit. I know Fernando was looking forward to it. He said it brings back a little bit more of an older style, so a little bit of the older drivers. And Max, even though he's not older, he still has every talent that all the older drivers have.
Yeah.
So it's like you got to group him into there too. So I know he's looking forward to it. But as Ferrari as a whole,
man,
you
get a great qualifying from Charles just to unfortunately be the victim of the Oscar Kimi fiasco. Oscar unfortunately goes from P2 to the pit lane, or P3 to the pit lane, and he DNFs, and then a couple laps later, which I honestly think they probably would have retired the car sooner if it wasn't for Charles getting knocked out. I think the only reason they tried to keep Lewis out there was just to salvage some kind of ego and boost for the team. Unfortunately, it only lasted like 40 laps, and then he was out. Charles was the fail circumstance to this, unfortunately, like I said, the fiasco between Oscar and Kimi. Lewis, he took all that damage from almost like a self-inflicted. I didn't see exactly what happened, but he hit the back of, what was it, Colapinto? Yeah. Ripped his front wing off, and then the front wing went directly under the car and caused all the damage to the floor. Yeah. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if it was Lewis thought there was more of a, or maybe Colapinto made a move that he didn't expect. Yeah, it was really odd to see from Lewis that kind of move where it, like I said, almost like self-inflicted. They investigated it and nobody was, nothing came of it. But you look at it, that's what ended his race essentially. Yeah. So
it looked like to me he was trying. It's weird. Right as he was going to switch to try to go around him on the outside, that's exactly when he let off the gas at the same time right in front. So it just was, he's not moving straight anymore. I'm moving right behind. I got clipped, and it just
it's a racing incident. Unfortunately, it just, when you look at it in the grand scheme of things, it ends up in a double DNF for Ferrari. The chairman is mad. He's made his comments on the same weekend that Ferrari wins the championship in WEC.
In the same week that Charles Leclerc announces his engagement, he decides to say some very choice words.
The chairman did say some choice
words for him.
He said his choice words. The drivers, Charles and Lewis,
him up right now.
Charles and Lewis did fire back a little bit on Twitter. They're
literally just defending themselves.
Yeah, they had to defend themselves. And was it direct? No, but when you read the words that the chairman said, which was,
I'll say it right now.
Up, he said, if we need drivers.
Quote John Elkin. If we look at our engineers, there's no doubt that the car has improved.
Where?
If we look at the rest, it's not up to standard. And we certainly have drivers who must focus on driving and less talk. Less talk. We are talking about a 7-time world champion, Lewis Hamilton. We're talking about Charles Leclerc, the golden boy of Ferrari, who is arguably the second best driver on the grid. We're talking about these guys. We're talking about Charles Leclerc, who's dragged this tractor on a pole this season in multiple front rows. Lewis Hamilton's had these problems. The car is shit. He's had problems with his engineer. I don't want to hear any of this. Oh, the engineers have done yet. Yeah, the pit stops have been good. The car has not been good at all. I don't know where he's seeing that the car is faster. This is just idiotic. It's absolutely idiotic that he came out to say this. This is showing that he knows absolutely nothing, that he's out of touch. You've united the Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc fans, and they are on your ass. I'm both because I'm a Ferrari fan. It's idiotic. It's stupid. He's the president. I don't even know. Who cares? Chairman, yeah. Your chairman should not be saying this. Dude, I can't.
When you look at it, it's the whole season as a whole. It's been rough, but on all sides, there's been very little.
He's just proving the point.
Very little positives is the word I'm looking for. Very little positives.
It's been like this for years. Look at it: Fernando Alonso, Raikkonen, Vettel, now Charles and Hamilton. All championship caliber drivers have constantly been failed by Ferrari because this team can't build a good car for them. You look back at the years at all those drivers who came to Ferrari and have just been disappointing years. And it's because it's on you and it's on the higher ups. It's not on Fred. It's not on any of the guys. And as much as I would like to blame it on them because the car is shit, it's not on them. It's on the higher ups. And something needs to change. Many things have changed down here in the pit crew, all that, team principal. Notice how nothing has changed with the higher ups. Nothing. Nothing at all. It's been a constant theme throughout the years.
So, on my end, I will say this. I kind of like Junior. I have a Samsung TV, so I also get F1 television playing 24 hours on my feed. A couple weeks ago, for some reason, I saw I think it was a 2016 or 2014 race. I should not be hearing the same voices from the Ferrari pit wall that I have heard from 2014 or 2016 in 2025, especially considering that team has not won a championship in all those years since Schumacher left.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess since Kimi won his championship.
It's crazy to think about too, because when you look that far back and you say, you hear the same voices. The only big change they really made was when they got rid of Binotto and they hired Fred.
Exactly.
And Fred was supposed to be, the leader to lead them into a new era. And it's not necessarily on Fred's fault, but as a team principal, how much can you do when you have two, like you said, championship caliber drivers and they are struggling with the car? I mean, yes, the engineers can only, are doing so much but there's a flaw somewhere in the system of Ferrari that is Ferrari. And it, for how many years has like Mark said, is proven that it's not working.
Exactly.
I think if anything proves it more, it's you getting a guy like Lewis Hamilton, someone who's won.
Yeah.
Yes, Charles has always been a championship caliber driver. Everybody said that. His one shot he probably had was in 2022. What happened? The strategy failed him many times. Yeah. There was a lot and that's why Binotto was gone. You bring Fred in. Gets a little bit better, but then the car just takes a fucking nosedive. So at what point does Mr. Chairman, Mr. Elkman say, okay, yeah, maybe my drivers need to drive more, talk less, but at what point does he look in the mirror and be like, okay, well, maybe where else do I need to make changes?
He's never going to do that. And what him saying this just proves it.
Yeah. I think when you look at how big Ferrari is as they have multiple races, it's not just F1. When WEC is winning the Constructors' Champion, it's easy for him to be like, well, my other teams are winning. What's wrong with F1? So he probably never will. I think it'll take something drastic to make changes. Hopefully they can put a car together in this new regulations era that makes them competitive next year. But who knows? It's just been a
shitty year.
I think you look at Brazil and it's just a cherry on top of the shit pile that has been the season of 2025 for Ferrari.
Yeah. Elkin, the last thing I'll say about Elkin too, kind of reminded me of the scene from Rush when Niki Lauda's in the car and they ask him about the car when he gets up. What do you?
It's a shit box.
It's a shit box.
It's a shit box. What do you want me to say?
You can't say that. It's a Ferrari.
And that's the way I get the vibe from Elkin because there have been different presidents for Ferrari since obviously Enzo Ferrari has passed on. They've had different leaders, but the biggest thing about him, he definitely seems to be one of those really, really old school guys, and I don't mean that in a good way.
No.
In that he is protecting the badge. That prancing horse is the number one priority. I don't care how you get that prancing horse to the front, but you get it to the front. That's why he's looking at the WEC team. Yeah. He also didn't talk about in WEC how, unlike in Formula One, they have this thing called balance of performance, which, in all honesty, Ferrari's been kind of beneficial that their car hasn't been less affected on it. Mm-hmm. If anything, you could say maybe they made such a weaker car that everybody else could be evened out, or they made such a good car they had to be evened out with the rest of the grid. Either way, balance of performance don't exist in F1.
No.
You don't get that. This is true. If you make it great, it will be great. If you make a shitbox, it will be a shitbox. And as Nikki said, that car's a shitbox right now.
Yeah. Yes.
There's no way around it.
It's just, like I said, there's just very little to no spots of light in the season that's been Ferrari this year.
Nope.
Can we move on?
Yeah, we'll move on because I want to mention how outside of Lando winning this year, home races have been a curse.
Yeah.
We go into Austria, Red Bull, Red Bull's home race. Kimi takes out Max. We start the season off in Australia, and Oscar is possibly fighting for the win and then spins out.
Yeah.
Who else's home race? I mean, you look at all the home races this season outside of Lando winning in Silverstone.
But to be fair, we have like 50 British drivers, so obviously one of them's gonna win it. So
fair. Poor Gabby, man. He was the hometown kid. We had very high hopes for him. He's been performing well. He just the sprint was a mistake on him. He got a little overeager.
Yeah.
I understand wanting to make the move and put on a show for the home crowd.
Yeah.
You weren't fighting for points in the sprint. It was a little overambitious. Paid the price. Thank God he was okay, because that was a very bad crash.
That was a bad crash.
That was probably one of the worst crashes we've seen since
Yuki's. I forget where. When he like flipped over.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Yuki's, you look at Max's in Silverstone in 2021. When you look at like the G's, I think they said the first hit on the wall was 34 G's, and then he bounced, went airborne, smashed into the wall. That impact was measured at 57 G's.
Yeah, that's just nuts.
That is a hard crash.
That's hard.
Hard crash. Thank God he was okay. Unfortunately, they couldn't get the car fixed in time for qualifying.
Yeah.
So he starts from the back with Max and Ocon starting from the pit lane. He ended up starting, what was it, P18?
Yeah.
I think so.
Falls victim to Stroll terrorism in lap 1, and his race is over before it even begins.
Fucking Stroll.
I found the lone Lance Stroll fan on Twitter yesterday, or X, whatever you call it, and he was defending Lance and blamed it on Gabby. And I was just like, look, man, I'm not even going to respond to this guy. I just laughed because 5
Lance Stroll fans on Twitter defend him with this lie. I'm certain they're on the Stroll payroll.
I give him credit because you look at that move, there's just no way. Like, I would have defended him, but had to mention poor Gabby. He still got lots of love. I mean, I saw the clips of him in the pit lane after the race with his family. He was obviously emotional. It sucks. We mentioned he's one of the first Brazilian drivers since Massa. Like, it's when you impact it and you see that the impact that he has, like as a Brazilian driver, with Senna being one of the greats, Massa being one of the greats. It's rough to see. You just tip your hat and hopefully next year you come back stronger, Gabby.
I will say it was funny to see because obviously we had the driver parade in the little cars, which is really cool to see. Another good driver's parade. Need more of that. Yeah, it was nice to see him have his own little car.
Yeah, he had his own little car. His little moment.
Colors, and he was driving around. So that was really cool to see. The safety car even had its own car.
Yeah,
that was really cool. But yeah, that was really cool to see him driving around and acknowledging the fans.
Yeah, for sure.
My main thought was gonna be, y'all thought breaking the Monaco curse was going to come free last year? I knew back then when it happened, I said, oh, crap. Now what are we going to have to pay back for Charles being able to finally win at Monaco?
Charles won at Monaco last year, and then 2025 has just been the exact opposite outside of Lando winning in Silverstone.
Maybe that's what set John Elkann off. He saw that win at Monaco last year, and ever since then, everybody knows, well, Charles, we got you your win, but...
I think it's got to hurt, too, that knowing that Ferrari's last win was Carlos in Mexico.
Okay, I was going to say, it has to hurt everybody at Ferrari. I know Carlos is over there at Williams right now.
This was my goodbye gift. Good luck getting another one.
Cackling over there like a schoolgirl right now, probably.
And before we close out for this, I got to give shout outs to V-Carb. The boys, Liam and Hadjar, raced their asses off. They qualified high. Both Yuki and Max were out at Q1, and then you see Hadjar and Liam Lawson in Q3 qualifying in the top 10. It was just... When I seen that, I was like, what is this weekend? What are we doing right now? Shout out them. They both kept their, stayed up in the top 10. They both finished in the points. Shout out Ollie Bierman. He's got Haas on his back right now. They're in the middle of a constructors battle.
Loki been smoking Ocon now.
He's the only rookie on the grid beating his teammate.
Yeah. That's, you shout out. And then you shout out Alpine. Gasly got his first.
Where the fuck did you get the flag from?
You shout out Alpine. Gasly got the team their first points. It was only 2 points, but hey, points are points. They got their first points since Spa,
since July.
July. We're in November now.
It's been so long.
Hey, you know what? You take them when you get them. You still, unfortunately, they're still last place, but they're the highest scoring last place in F1 history. So
that's for all them kids out
leaving
there.
here with something. Said Alpine.
Don't run from the grind, kids. The grind can still be attained.
And I got to mention with Ollie, like I said, putting Haas on his back. V-Carb, they scored double points this weekend. P6 in the constructors battle, there's 20 points that separate 5 teams. You got V-Carb in sitting 6th right now with 82. Aston Martin is close behind with 72. They look strong this weekend, sort of. Alonso is doing Alonso things. So Aston's at 72, only 10 points behind in P7. You got Haas at 70, and then you got Sauber because Hulk and Gabby have been, outside of this past weekend, have been driving well. Yeah. 62. So 20 points, 3 rounds left, separate 6 through 9. Williams has P5 pretty much locked up.
Yeah.
And then Alpine's got P10 locked up. But then you look at P2 battle, it's still a battle. It was a strong weekend for Mercedes with Kimi taking the podium and George finishing close behind. They're up 398. They're sitting in P2. Ferrari dropped all the way down to P4. They're got 362 points. And then Red Bull, another Maxsterclass, bumped them up with 366. So there's 32 points separating P2 and P3 right now. 3 rounds to go. If Yuki can figure his shit out, maybe
we always say that, but Max is gonna carry at the end of the
day. Hopefully another win from Max.
Yeah.
And I expect Vegas to be another strong track for Mercedes. So I feel like Mercedes is gonna take P2 pretty quick. You can only hope that Ferrari gets it together for the last 3 rounds and maybe takes P3 from Red Bull with only Max scoring points.
Aren't the last 3 rounds all night races? The Mercedes is looking pretty good right now.
I mean,
I just not realized that myself too.
It will be a little bit warmer in Vegas because the race is starting 2 hours earlier than last year. So hopefully it hurts Mercedes a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Still a night race. But yeah, I mean, those are just a couple of constructors battles to keep an eye on. P2 and P6, like I said, there's 3 teams fighting for P2. There's 5 fighting for P6. There's millions of dollars, up for grabs right there in those spots. So all the teams will be doing everything they can to hopefully get those, that money at the end of the season. Hopefully get, the tunnel time if they want to tank, whatever it is that helps them. I think just all eyes right now are on the championship, the drivers' championship. With Lando's only 24 points in the lead. Max is only 49 behind in P3. 25 separates.
Would it be crazy if they did something like the NFL, where like the last team place gets like a certain amount of money since they're so bad?
Well, they get the win, the tunnel time.
Oh yeah,
they get. So technically, if you want to tank, Alpine is tanking for tunnel time right now.
I wish we could take for the best car on the grid after that. I wish that's the way this shit works.
But yeah, I mean, Brazil was fun. It was a great race. It provided a lot of excitement. I love sprint weekends because usually Max wins. Unfortunately, didn't. But it just added to the drama that's going to be the last 3 races. We have a week off, and then we have the triple header to close out the season.
Yes.
I don't want the season to end yet because I'm having a lot of fun. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, we got our last weekend off before we wrap up the season. So, any last thoughts on Brazil? I know, Mark, you let Ferrari have it today. So,
fuck that guy,
Ivan.
Mine, Pierre Gasly, you are an angel. Thank you very much for at least giving me some signs of hope for my team for the future. And then let's bring on 2026 for these new regulations because my team and second favorite driver needs to get the hell up out of the ground effect era.
Yep. And for me, it's only I enjoyed the Maxsterclass that was Brazil. Unfortunately, it wasn't a win, but you take a podium when you start from P3 any day of the week. And next season, I'll probably be wearing number 33 proudly because that's where we're at.
Coming home.
That's where we're at. Unfortunately, we lose in V1 and we'll be in V33 again in 2026.
Yep.
3 more races to go. We got a week off. We'll be back next week to predict Vegas, and then we'll get into the heat of things. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Like I said, I just want to fight going into Abu Dhabi, whether it's between all 3 or at least between the 2 McLarens or even between Max and Lando. I don't know.
Please.
We don't know what's going to happen. 3 rounds to go. 1 more sprint. 83 points up for grabs. 75 plus 8 is 83. Yeah, 83 points up for grabs. A 24-point lead. Anything can happen. We'll find out. We'll be back next week. Like I said, we'll preview Vegas and then we'll go from there. Shout out Apollo sponsors, Big City Wings, Apollo's Wing Joint, Houston's Wing Joint, your Wing Joint. Check out one of the 14 locations. Get you some good grub. And Zing Zang, Zang responsibly, America's #1 Bloody Mary mix. Get it wherever you get your special mixes at. Specs, Total Wine, all that. Follow us on all our socials. The link tree is in the description. It is Apollo Formula One, Apollo F1 Racing, around the circuit. All the links are there. You can follow me on Modern Warrior on X, MPC H-Town for Mark, and IL White One.
Yes, sir.
We're all on X. Hit us up and let us know what you think. Leave some comments. Drop a like on this video. And don't forget to subscribe. We're at, what is it, 16.1 thousand? 16.1K. We're trying to get up to 16.2. So we'd appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
We'll see y'all next week. We're out of here. Peace.
Yeah, yes, leave.